In the chapter Biting Back, Twilight Anti-Fandom and the Rhetoric of Superiority, authors Jessica Sheffield and Elise Merlot examine the strategies that anti-fans of Twilight use in order to properly criticize the novel. The authors also examine the reason why Twilight fans are described in feminized terms. Twilight and its fans, also known as Twihards, face much more scrutiny than fans from any other fanbase. Stephenie Meyer's writing style is often the source of major criticism. The age of many fans and the way they choose to express their appreciation for the novel is also criticized by anti-fans. According to Gray, anti-fans are individuals who strongly dislike a given text or genre, considering it inane, stupid, morally bankrupt, and/or aesthetic drivel. Paradoxically, anti-fans have similar behaviors and strategies towards the novels that fans do, with the only difference being the overall attitude towards the novel. Anti-fans not only criticize the novel, but they also criticize the fans of the series. Anti-fans often use feminized terms in order to dismiss the series entirely. Twilight is a good example of the gender divide in fandom. According to the chapter, a feminine approach to a fandom would be one that does not necessarily prize rational discourse about the content of the books or movies. In order to avoid scrutiny, fans of Twilight must dismiss the book as simply a guilty pleasure and portray themselves as being aware of Twilight's shortcomings. In the chapter, Sheffield and Merlot explain that novels like Twilight are seen as a decline in quality because it is geared towards a mainly female audience. Anti-fans of Twilight often use three rhetorical strategies to critique the series. The first strategy that anti-fans regularly use on online communities is to mock the intelligence of Twilight fans. In this strategy, the anti-fans make no effort to actually read the material, for they have already come to the conclusion that it is too lowbrow for them to engage in. The second strategy often used by anti-fans is to critique the novel by subjecting it to intellectual inquiry and express the feeling that the fans lack critical thinking skills. In this strategy, anti-fans accuse Twilight of having misogynistic messages and being a dangerous book for young female fans to read. They view fans of Twilight as young, silly girls who are not intelligent enough to perceive the dangers of the book. According to Sheffield and Merlot, the behavior exhibited by many anti-fans that use this strategy help perpetuate the very issues they mock. The final strategy that anti-fans use is negotiation. They distance themselves from extreme behaviors and often blur the lines between fan and anti-fan. In this strategy, many people navigate between criticizing the novel and praising the novel. They are careful not to be too extreme in their outlook and behavior towards the novel. There is a coded sexism when it comes to a woman having to justify the reasons why she likes Twilight. Many women have to use rational terms instead of emotional terms to explain why they enjoy Twilight, since emotional terms is seen as too feminine and femininity is often linked to irrationality. Each rhetorical strategy may take different forms, but each depicts the gendered nature of anti-Twilight sentiment. The anti-fan community for Twilight is almost as extreme in their hate for Twilight as Twihards are for liking Twilight. According to Gray, hate or dislike of a text can be just as powerful as can a strong and admiring, effective relationship with a text, and they can produce just as much activity, identification, meaning, and effects, or serve just as powerfully to unto and sustain a community or subculture. In conclusion, Twilight has fans, anti-fans, and people in between. Learning about each one's perspective is important in our understanding of fandom and why Twilight produces strong emotions in people.
Coursing through my veins, when did I become so cold?